Yes, welcome to Bikes of Rye, and thank you for clicking on my video. Now before we jump into this motorcycle review, as a rapidly growing motorcycle content creator, Bikes of Rye is dedicated to offering motorcycle related content, including motovlogs, touring, news, and bike reviews. If you simply subscribe to Bikes of Rye, you'll not only be sure not to miss out on valuable, entertaining content, but also be a part of our special growing community. So to those of you who have just kindly hit the subscribe button, welcome along for the ride. I very much appreciate you. Now on with the review. Yes, to the 2021 GSX-S1000. Oh baby. Now first impressions, I have to say the clutch was very snatchy trying to pull away. It's got that anti-stall feature on it, I believe. I've got the bike for a couple of hours. Weather isn't great today, as you can clearly see. There is forecast rain. It's only covered about 110 miles. So it's obviously still running in. Oh, look at this guy. Yeah, he was dancing along. Gave a little thumbs up. What a character. He's loving life, as I am too. I am actually test riding this bike not only to review and produce some content for YouTube, but also this is a potential bike for me to upgrade to purchase in the near future. And do you know what, this bike wasn't even on my radar. Now I recently test rode the Speed Triple. In fact, that was the last bike I properly rode, at the new 1200 RS. What a phenomenal machine. But you know, I started looking around the market because I felt the speed was just slightly too much for me, and it's great to have all that performance and power, but I mean, I'll be honest, I don't know if I'm capable of exploiting that bike and using it to its full advantage, to its capabilities. So I started looking around the market for something a little bit less extreme. Do you know what the standout feature for me on this bike is? It's the price. I couldn't believe it when I discovered that this bike is 11 grand, or just over 11 grand on the road. And now I think if you consider the fact that if you look at the middleweight class, like the MT-09 SP, which I've also test ridden, and then the likes of I own a 2020 Street Triple 765 RS, and these are all circa 10.5 grand. And for a smidgen more, look what you could own. This isn't a super naked, this bike, so its competition is something probably like the CB1000, or even, I mean, you could argue maybe the MT10, but the MT10 is a bit old now, and I wonder when Yamaha will bring out a new model. But yeah, I think that's its true competition, or I guess the Z1000 as well. So then how does it feel to ride slow around town? I think this is it's quite manageable. Being a litre bike, you expect it to potentially run away with you, and you know, difficult to ride at slow speeds. I think an observation for me is it is easy to ride at slow speed, but it's got that it's got a bit of, you know, the engine's what, K5, you know, from 2005, so it's a bit old now, but of course it is a fantastic engine. But I guess you could say that it does feel a little bit coarse. Okay, interesting there, right? As I was going up the quick shifter, it was releasing the throttle, and it was like pausing and then surging, and pausing and surging. I wonder why it was doing that. Is that normal? Let's go down the box to third. Let's try that again. Not so obvious then. National speed limit sign. Let's see what it's saying. Oh, it just gets up to speed easy, doesn't it? Second gear pull there. Plenty quick enough, isn't it? And another attractive thing about this bike is it doesn't want to rip your face off. Now, being a road bike, the suspension should be geared up for that job in mind, and I have to say the suspension is a little bit on the firmer side. It does feel a little bit busy at times, Now you can adjust the suspension, and I would say the front forks would need a little bit of tweaking. Tunnel. What about this dash? It's busy, isn't it? I mean, you've got a lot of numbers on there. You're looking at it and there's lots of numbers. I think you have to become a little bit familiar with it, get used to how to read it. So you've got your fuel gauge up here, you've got your temperature, your speedo, all your trip numbers, your gear, your TC number, then obviously you've got your rider mode here, and then you've got your rev count around the outside. Also, the other things you don't get being an 11 grand bike are features like cruise control, sophisticated electronics like IMU, you know, engine braking, wheelie control, slide control, all these features that you get with some of the super nakeds. But again, I have to reiterate, 11 grand, look what you're getting for the money, and it is a road bike. It's not for the track. It doesn't have that in mind. Right, just parked up for some pictures for the Instagram and for the thumbnail. Let's just have a quick walk around. I have to say, I love this colour. I do like the front end. It's almost like Super Duke R looking in the way the fairing is designed. You know, it's all pointing towards the nose. Really like the headlights. I like how they're stacked, and you've got this finish in places. You might not see it on the GoPro, but it's got this kind of like digital camo finish, and I wasn't sure at first if I liked it or not. Kind of, when I first looked at it, I thought it was obviously peeling. You've got it here too, but actually the more I look at it, I have to say I do like it. How does it sound? Being Euro 5, not so bad. Indicators are LED, and what's handy about these indicators being so big, you can quite easily see that you've maybe left the indicator on. Thought it would have been a lot bigger until I got to it in person. When I seen it in photos, it looks bigger than it is. When you sit on it, you can easily flat foot it, like no bother. I'm 6 foot tall. Now, being 214 kilos, I thought it was going to feel a bit heavy, but I'm sticking around these lanes here, and it's changing direction very well. Gotta say, handles lovely, mate.
Right then, a quick summary of the 2021 Suzuki GSX-S1000. Overall, I was really impressed with this bike. Now, I know it isn't an all singing, all dancing, fancy super naked, and you may assume it's budget to ride or look at because it's so much cheaper, but let me tell you, it genuinely isn't a budget alternative. But let's not kid ourselves for 1 minute. This bike would absolutely get destroyed by the more expensive super nakeds. So with that said, how was it? Well, as a road focused bike, the engine, chassis, brakes and suspension work together very well to bring a well-rounded package. With 150 brake horsepower and plenty of torque, the bike has this smooth, grunty mid-range power, and it is keen to live in that mid-range spot. I never felt like the bike was too much, but at the same time, I found it plenty quick enough and capable for my personal abilities. I was filled with confidence to push on, or if I just wanted to relax, it would settle down and handle slow speeds well. Talking of slow speeds, I would add that I did feel the clutch to be on a weighty side after a little while. The gearbox was okay. Personally, I thought the peg felt like it was operating a sponge going up the box, but it was positive going down the box. The bi-directional quick shifter worked like magic most of the day, though I did have that single moment, as witnessed in this motovlog, when there was that long pause and surge going up a couple of gears, but then that never happened again. This bike is a no-nonsense, honest, naked with a couple of worthy added extras. There is this reminiscence of this almost old school bruiser-like feel that comes through the chassis and engine. It is slightly rugged, less sophisticated kind of refinement, and there is this charm about its character. Suzuki are providing an absolute cracking economical alternative in the litre class naked world, in my opinion. As for me buying this bike, well, I am completely on the fence, though I will admit that I have already started thinking about what I would do to this bike if I did purchase it. Anyhow, hope you enjoyed this review, and if you did, whack that like button. Also, if you have any questions or feedback, feel free to drop them in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. See you later.